Welcome back to the channel. So T-Mobile is currently in the middle of a analyst presentation. So a bunch of analysts flew out to T-Mobile HQ, and T-Mobile is now presenting to these analysts. I've seen Roger there. I'm sure Mike Dano. I'm sure a couple of others are there as well in person. So there's no way to watch this presentation, but there are a few pictures and photos out there. So I just wanted to reiterate something wanted to make that a very, very big point, because it's really happening. And I'm starting to really see that now, even in my area, that the type of scale that T-Mobile is going to compete at in the near-term future is the biggest competition that Verizon and AT&T will ever face at that type of scale, right? Sprint couldn't do it when they were around. They never competed at that big scale, right? And T-Mobile couldn't do it as a standalone. So Verizon and AT&T, they had the lion's share at the scale. In the rural parts, it was a monopoly. It was either you choose Verizon or AT&T. And before AT&T made their first net push, it was mostly Verizon that you were able to choose. Now that's no longer the case, right? T-Mobile is growing every quarter more and more, and they're doing so pretty quick. So the numbers that you're seeing here at this presentation have not changed yet, so keep that in mind. We likely won't get an update on these numbers until October 27th. That's when T-Mobile reports their quarterly earnings in the afternoon again. It's the last two quarters, they did it in the morning. Now they're going to do it in the afternoon. So covered by extended range, 320 million. Covered by ultra capacity, 235 million. And dedicated 5G spectrum is now at 140. I think it was recently just at 110. Now it bumped up to 140. So T-Mobile is making massive moves. I'm telling you guys right now, this is going to be a very, very competitive industry on the MNO side. Very competitive. I'm here to tell you this right now. It's going to be very competitive. This is what I'm hearing. For those of you who stick around for the length of the videos, I'm hearing Verizon for the quarter, #1 share in disconnects outright, which should be no surprise to anybody. They are losing tons of customers, even though the earnings previews are saying that perhaps Verizon can offset that with the business gains, which they are growing there too. But they are #1 on the consumer side for share disconnects. That is disgusting. That should not be happening at all. But it is, because they're stubborn and they're not pivoting and they're not making a market correction. Also, one thing that I want to point out really quickly, which I think is probably the biggest takeaway from this presentation, T-Mobile has over 150 new government accounts. That is big. They're gaining traction there. So look forward to that in the future, because that means they're making headwind, and that means word of mouth. There are several different departments inside government organizations, inside these military bases. There's contracts, there's the MWR, there's all these other organizations that need phones. It's not just the Army and Navy and Air Force itself. It's all these other civilian organizations that are operated within Fort Bragg, Fort Bliss, all these other government organizations that T-Mobile can pick up. They can get some of those contracts. They can do it. I know they can. This is what I do for a living, and the lowest bidder usually wins on these contracts. So T-Mobile can for sure cut in to some of that share from Verizon and AT&T, and apparently they're already doing so quite at big scale. 150 departments already chose T-Mobile, and that word of mouth is going to get around quick. Hey, we use T-Mobile. What? They work here? Yeah, they work great, and they're cheaper. That's the convo that's going to start going around. So I look forward to that competition, because that means Verizon and AT&T are going to have to be on their toes. They're going to have to evaluate. They're going to have to seek analysis from their internal teams. They're going to say, hey, how's the market looking? Are we competitively priced? Are we competitive? We'll see. We will see how this ends up. But I think T-Mobile is positioned to be the biggest competitor that Verizon and AT&T will have ever seen in the wireless MNO space. Ever. And not just in certain areas, I'm talking at scale. And that's what this merger was supposed to provide to begin with. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, follow the social media outlets for more interactions. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See you in the next one. Peace.